All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, outfielder Juan Soto is heading west, but it's not to Orange County and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Today, the San Diego Padres acquired outfielders Juan Soto along with first baseman Josh Bell from the Washington Nationals in exchange for 7 players. Now, obviously, Soto was a centerpiece of this deal. Soto is only 23 years of age with a World Series championship to his credit, and he is also one of Major League Baseball's youngest and brightest stars. Now, for the Nationals, they had to make a move, being that Soto had turned down several contract extensions to remain in DC. For me, though, I'm honestly surprised that the Nationals made this move happen before the trade deadline. I really expected Washington's front office to really sit back and possibly go into the winter meetings and get this deal done. To me, I felt like Washington did this a little bit out of desperation, just to say, you know what, we tried everything we could to keep Soto happy. Obviously, that was not the case. And now let's just see if we can get something for him. You have a scenario where Soto is under contract through 2024, so there really wasn't a rush to get this deal done. But the Nationals just went ahead and did it nonetheless. Now, looking forward, excuse me, for San Diego, you got a situation now where you have Soto, Manny Machado, and when Fernando Tatis Jr. comes back from injury, this is going to be the heart of your lineup. And that's going to put a lot of stress on a lot of teams out there that the Padres are going to be facing. I mean, you think about Soto, yes, his numbers have been down this year, batting average wise, and it's due to the fact that the Nationals simply don't have the same caliber team around Soto that they did when he first came up in 2018. And of course, when the Nats went on that magical run to win their first and only World Series championship back in 2019. The talent just is not there right now in DC. And now, if you're Soto, you're going to a much better situation, a much better lineup. And I think, Juan Soto is about to take the hood off. And when I say that, I'm saying from the standpoint that he's going to go out there and prove his worth, not only about the fact that he goes from a bad team to a good team. Also, he's going to take the rest of this year, potentially in the postseason, as well as the next couple of years to showcase himself. And I say that because you look at it right now. Yes, Soto is going to San Diego, but I just simply don't see him being there long term. I don't see the Padres giving him the type of money through an extension that he would want. And on top of that, the Padres, they still have to worry about several things themselves. I know Eric Hosmer was a part of that deal initially today with Soto. Hosmer rejected the trade to Washington, and then the Boston Red Sox came in and scooped them up. But nonetheless, at least for the next couple of years, financially, San Diego is in a good spot because the big money on that contract extension that Tatis Jr. received really does not kick in until 2025. And of course, throughout the remainder of Manny Machado's contract, he's going to be getting $32 million each season. But nonetheless, with the amount of money that Juan Soto and Scott Boras are going to be looking to covet out there on the free agency market, I simply don't see a scenario where Soto's going to stay in the 619 long term. Now, however, on the short term, San Diego has put themselves in a good position to go out there and win with this lineup. And then, as well as their pitching staff as well, we've seen some quality pitching this season from the likes of Yu Darvish in this rotation for the Padres. Joe Musgrove has been solid as well as Sean Manaea. And then you go out there and make the acquisition of Josh Hader from the Milwaukee Brewers, another expiring contract. But nonetheless, if you're the Padres, you're definitely all in right now. So this right here, for me, for AJ Preller, the Padres GM, was a slam dunk. You have yourself a much better manager this season in Bob Melvin, and it's all systems go right now for the Padres. Now, San Diego entered play today, 12 games behind the Los Angeles Dodgers for first place in the NL West. It's going to be a long shot for San Diego to catch the Dodgers between now and the end of the season because the Dodgers themselves still have a very good baseball team. But this is definitely a move that is going to put the Padres in position to make some noise in October in the postseason because, again, the heart of that lineup is going to put stress on so many pitching staffs. Now, the other thing about it, though, the flip side of it, if you're San Diego, you have the talent, but who's going to be your leader? Manny Machado has not shown throughout his career that he can be a leader, and then you have Tatis Jr. and Soto who are still youngsters, so that's going to be part of it. But talent-wise, you cannot question what the San Diego Padres have here. Again, Soto is here now, but I don't see him being there long term. And typically, when you have players, star players, that are represented by Scott Boras, like Juan Soto is, Boras typically wants his guys to get to free agency and get that big payday. And if Boris wasn't worried about that or wasn't focused on that rather, guess what? Juan Soto would have signed an extension. He'd still be a Washington National, and we would not be having this conversation right now, or a lot of people, for that most part, would not be having this conversation about Juan Soto right now. So it's a situation, like I said, I think San Diego is going to take care of their business short term. But when it gets to the point that Soto is ready to hit free agency or get close to free agency, you're going to see the big boys come into play. You're going to see the Yankees. You're going to see the Dodgers. You're going to see the Mets. Teams of that ilk come in because they have the deep pockets to go out there and give Soto the big money that he's going to covet. So I think right now San Diego is in a good position. They have an opportunity because to do some damage because they know that Soto is all in. He's going to be ready to go. And then if it doesn't work out, in a couple of years, San Diego is still in a position where they could possibly trade him and get some potential prospects back before he hits free agency, and they get absolutely nothing. But what happens in the short term? Uh, Honestly, the postseason cannot get here quick enough. If you're the Padres, obviously you need some time to gel, but nonetheless, the expectations for this team have really changed. Honestly, you can make a very strong case that the expectations for the San Diego Padres have not been this high since Tony Gwynn still played for the team, and that was a long time ago. So I look at this right now. It was a deal that the Nationals look to get done. Again, I'm surprised that it got done before the trade deadline. I'm surprised that they didn't hold out to the winter meetings and really get a great deal from the standpoint of Washington. But at the same time, they didn't want this to be a distraction on the team. Should not have made it public in the first case, as far as Juan Soto turning down your contract offers, because at the same time, other GMs out there know that you're potentially looking to shop this guy. But nonetheless, Juan Soto is with the San Diego Padres. I really didn't talk about Josh Bell, another quality bat, another quality glove for them defensively. I think both of them are going to have a solid impact for the Padres. And for the Washington Nationals, you've officially hit the reset button. So let's see what the Nats can do from here. They've once again, fall into baseball purgatory, if you will. I'll talk more about that tomorrow. But nonetheless, they got to find the way to get out of this rut. Obviously, there's a potential ownership change there. There's a lot that we have to peel back the surface on. But nonetheless, Juan Soto is in San Diego. I think he's going to ball out. And of course, for the short term, the San Diego Padres will definitely benefit. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.